So it's basically been exactly 1 year since I dropped my Nissan Pathfinder, 1999. That car was a workhorse since I kind of dropped it to get this this Tesla Model Y. And I would say it's been kind of a mixed bag of experience. Mixed bag in the sense that, you know, there's been some positives about this car. There's been things that I absolutely love and enjoy, but there are also a little bit of cons, but I'll say mostly positive, just to kind of put it up front. So this video, it's kind of a video where I review my experience from, you know, going from an internal combustion engine, an ICE car, not the American ICE though, the ICE car, an ICE car to an electric vehicle, complete electric vehicle. The nerves I had, whether I should do it, whether it makes sense or not, and then kind of what ultimately fed into that decision. So I'm trying to see what it's gonna do. You see, kind of pulled out a little bit for the truck to make the turn. So anyway, those are some of the things that I enjoyed about the car: the full self-driving feature, the fact that I don't need to do anything anymore. Many of you who are not who are regulars on this channel, you know I do. I review updates as far as Tesla FSD updates go. But today's video is not about that. It's a 1 year review of my experience being a parent, you know, daily driving this car, and if you should get a Model Y as well. If you're thinking about getting a Model Y, if you're thinking about getting into the EV space, maybe you're owning an EV, is it a good car for you? Is the Model Y good for your family? So if that's something you're kind of been wondering about, what's like a day-to-day experience living with it, dealing with a car seat, as you can see there's a car seat right there, you know, experience one-on-one. If you are kind of interested in this kind of this sort of stuff, then this is the video for you. So come along. So a bit of a background, right? Why the switch from an ICE car to an EV? So I was driving a Nissan Pathfinder, like I said, the 1999 Nissan Pathfinder. That car was a workhorse. I've done multiple Calgary to Vancouver trips, you know, in that car. It has served me well. It's done the job. I honestly cannot complain, not even in the slightest bit. However, every month my gas bill came to average roughly $500 a month, and it does not make sense. Driving that old car, the safety features are not as up to date, you know, and it was beginning, you know, kind of the final straw that broke the camel's back, to use that expression, was it was beginning to break down, right? I like to say I'm one, if any car I get, I like to use them till they die, basically. So I would say I only bought this car because the Pathfinder died. That's while it was beginning to die, I spoke to my mechanic and he was like, "Oh, you might need to spend up to upwards of you know, $4,000 to fix it." I'm like, I bought this car for $1,500 from an elderly woman who stopped driving after COVID. I'm not gonna pay that for it. So I started shopping around, looking around for an option to get, and then I researched into EV. I've worked in the EV space. That's kind of a disclaimer. Not, you know, as an engineer or anything, but my day job, I'm a planner, and so I've been in a role where, you know, I work coordinating grants, you know, funding public EV charging infrastructure. So I know a little bit, a fair bit about EVs, but what I do not know was how would it handle daily driving? How would it handle, you know, if you have a child, you know, and you need to charge the car, you know, when it's in cold. I bought this car obviously at the time when I was in Calgary. It's colder out there. Yeah, so what's gonna happen? Anyway, first things first, in terms of cost, it's a breeze. Like, the difference is huge. Like I said, from $500 to getting an EV and charging at home, my bill didn't even go up to $100 in a month. Not even up to $100. So for me, that is already a win. So if you're looking to cut costs, I'm not saying you should go buy an EV because you want to cut costs. So if you're looking to buy a new car, so well at that point we decided we're going to buy a new car. One thing on my list was we really liked the Honda Pilot, and I'm going to tell you why we ended up not going with it and going with the EV. In fact, I actually going to do a deposit, and I was like, and then I saw that Tesla was doing a promo, you know, where you get some extra rebate off, and I'm like, this might actually be making sense. But those questions still remain. The daily driving experience. So I'm going to come to that later in the video. Anyway, as far as the experience goes, with switching, in terms of cost, upfront, it was a no-brainer. So if you're looking to buy a new car, even if it's a used one you want to buy, you compare the prices instead of buying this. As long as I don't know much about the used market, because I haven't tried it myself, and I like to only give suggestions that I've tried myself. So I haven't tried it myself, so I can't say. However, those who have tried it, as long as you get a warranty from Tesla, I think it makes sense if you compare in terms of cost. So like I said, we went from spending $500 a month to let's even say it's $100 a month. That's $400 of saving. You know, multiply that by in a year, right? So when we decided to go ahead with the Tesla, let's talk about the ordering experience. This was the seamless experience I have ever had as far as car purchasing goes. So went into a Tesla showroom. I had to convince my wife, you know, but then I had to convince myself first. So I went into a Tesla showroom. Yeah, I asked for a drive, and the sales guy was willing to allow me to take it home for the weekend. And I'm like, who does that? Contrast that with my experience when I went to the Honda dealership. The guy literally came in the car with me. Like, he sat behind us and was talking to us. I'm like, let me enjoy, you know, being in this car. Let me enjoy the experience of testing this out myself without you trying to influence my thoughts. He was asking questions, you know, chipping in and saying stuff, you know. Of course, in retrospect, I realized that's like a sales tactic. You know, all they're trying to do is try to get me, get in my head, and you know, it's something salespeople do. I didn't get that kind of pushy sales tactic, you know, with the Tesla. Take it home. I tested it first. I've never driven in a Tesla before, so they just gave me a background, you know, and stuff. Okay, I've driven in a Tesla, but I haven't been behind the wheel. You know, I've been in the front seat, sat next to the friend who was driving, but I hadn't been behind it. But that wasn't a worry. Like, go ahead, test it out. For me, that means you're confident in your product. Confident enough that you're willing to let me take it home for the weekend. Well, I didn't take it home for the weekend. I brought my wife, she tested FSD, she was hooked. And I'll say for me too, the moment I tested it, I was hooked. So I'm gonna say this. If you do not plan to buy a Tesla, never get behind the wheel. Once you do, I promise you, you'll be hooked. Once you sit in this driver's seat, you test it, it's doing all of this, I promise you, you're gonna buy. Except you can't afford, you're gonna get one. So that's the experience. So also, they were pushing a whole lot of stuff. Because for me, anything I want to buy, I like to make my research. So I had made my research. I knew the trim I wanted to buy. That's for the Honda Pilot. So I went in. I paid a deposit, actually. I paid $1,000, you know, and I made sure it was a refundable one. Anyway, and then they said, oh, the car was going to arrive at so time. But then, only for them to send me a document, and then they were trying to push and tack on extra things on it. And I'm like, no, I don't want that. And they're like, oh, you need to do an undercoat. You need to do tire package. You need to do a dash cam. I don't want any of those because the bill racked up very quickly. Added like another extra $8,000 to it. So dealership experience, Tesla 10, regular dealership 2. So if you don't want to deal with dealer, go buy a Tesla. So let's talk about day-to-day use. So this car, I have used it a lot. Like, I've driven it everywhere. My first road trip was in December in winter. I drove it from Calgary to Elkford. Some of you would have seen the video on this channel. If you want to see the full video, I'll put a link up there as well. Like, the entire trip was done mostly on FSD, except one time when I was distracted. I was talking to my wife and my daughter and my wife's cousin, and then the car warned me. And then, you know, I had this disengagement from the car. I had to pull over and then restart FSD again and it continued. That was my fault because I wasn't paying attention. But basically, smooth experience, even in winter. You know, one thing though, get your winter tires. That was my first rude awakening. I realized like I needed winter tires. And probably you guys would have seen this video on this channel, very popular video, rear-wheel drive Tesla that was struggling in the snow. You are going to struggle, you know, but then the all-wheel drive kind of makes it better a little bit. But I always say a better tire with better traction beats, it's science has proven it beats four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive with poor tires and poor traction. So road trips, smooth. One thing about road trips that was my worry all along before buying this car, that might be something you might be thinking about as well, was if I need to go on a road trip, I don't want to be stopping too frequently. Well, except you're someone who likes to drive 6, 7, 8 hours non-stop, which I don't think is healthy. I think this car is just fine for each time that we've gone on a road trip, especially, and like I said, I'm saying this as a parent, each time we've gone on a road trip that we've had to stop to use the washroom, to eat or something, the car has always been ready before we were. And I've gone on multiple road trips, gone to Elkford, done Calgary to Vancouver like 3 times, you know, Vancouver to Calgary, you know, like that 3 times. And like I said, every single time the car beats us to it. The car is ready before we were ready. Also, car seats, yeah, easy. The car has a front, it has a sub trunk where you can keep stuff. I mean, I loaded this thing to its gear when we're moving back to Vancouver. Like, I loaded it up when we're moving back to Vancouver. and it was fine. There was no issue. So day-to-day experience, it has been smooth. One thing I would say, depending on where you live, if you live in a place where it is very cold, Calgary, Manitoba, you know, if you're in the States, if you live in very cold regions where you get, you know, sub 10 degrees temperature on a regular in winter, then you need to have a level 2 charger. Hey Meta, mute notifications for the next hour.
Message announcements paused for 1 hour.
So if you live in a place where in very cold regions like that, then you do need a level 2 charger. A level 1 charger would not cut it. If you live in a place like Vancouver, right now it's winter, you all see how it looks like. It doesn't look like winter right here, but it is winter. If you live in a place like this, honestly, you don't need it. A level 1 charger is good enough for you. I've been using a level 1 charger since we got back to the lower mainland, and absolutely no issue. So all that worry about charging, range anxiety is good enough. For the driving many of us do on a daily basis, this car is sufficient. I only, you know, because I do a level 1 charger now, so I have to charge it, you know, plug it in once I'm back. So even if you just have like a regular outlet, it's good enough. So still talking about daily driving, you see the smoothest thing about this car is what's happening right now. This is hands down the best in the market. You see, I am as skeptical as you would get. If you don't know before now, you can go watch all my videos. I say it as it is. I don't sugarcoat it. You know, I may like the brand, but then I am not afraid to call it out. I'm not afraid to point out where it's not good. Is FSD 100%? No. Do I think it is like 80-90%? I think so. The very little quirks would be the things that has to do with completely unsupervised self-driving. It's not there yet. It's not there yet. It's not at that point of completely unsupervised self-driving just yet. But then supervising it like this, you know, paying attention and doing something when you need to. Obviously, I haven't touched, you guys haven't seen my hand moving. I haven't touched the steering wheels at all since this drive. And so tell me, what else are you looking for in a car that's supposed to take you from one place to the next? So this is hands down the best feature of this car, and it is the best in class. It's the best in the market. Like, you can't just look at, like, it's going to go in, let me see, I've chosen parking lot already, my destination. It's going to park me where I should park. I've tested this time and again. And tell me, if you are an older person, if you're a family man, you know when you're traveling on a road trip or you are going from, you know, your daily driving, your little toddler is at the back, even if your partner is in there with you, sometimes your child will distract you and they'll say, oh daddy, I want to do this or I want to do that. You pay attention to them a little bit. When that happens, now I'm gonna see, where is it gonna pick that spot? Come on, pick that one. I was gonna, anyway, let's see what it's gonna pick a spot. Anyway, you know, sometimes you look back, you're distracted by your little one. It happens. Don't let's act I'm high and mighty here. It happens. With this, the car takes care of it. I don't need to worry. And that for me is the best feature of this car. So if you're thinking about it, if that's a possibility, go ahead. Just do. Although on a personal note, I do not like the idea of it becoming a subscription model, which is what Tesla is pushing now. You know, I just love that you can own it and then it becomes just, although for you to break even when you own it, you need to drive the car for upwards of 7 to 8 years. So, you know, make of that what you want to make of it. You know, if you think you might not, you are someone who turns over cars, you know, after 3 years, you're done, you want to get the latest shiny, then do not buy FSD with the car. Although it's going away anyway in the next few days. Hopefully I post this video before it goes away. So whatever the case, it is better. It depends on your choice, what you want to do. But whether you want to keep the car for a longer time, if you want to keep for a longer period, I'm of the opinion that owning the FSD is better. So another feature I really like is, two features I really like about daily driving this. In winter, or even in summer too, when it's really cold, I simply can go into my app. Let's say I'm not in the car right now. I'm not touching anything, as you can see. One hand is holding the camera, one hand is holding my phone. I can go into my car, into my phone app while I'm still wherever I am, and then I can turn off the heat. Like right now, you see. So let me move it here. You guys can see, like I'm not pressing it here. You can see that my hand is not on the screen. I can operate it from inside. So if on days that are very cold, I can increase it and make it warm up like pretty quickly. And I must tell you this, it warms up pretty fast. It has really saved me on some days, you know, when it's really hot, cold out there, or when it's really hot in summer. I cool the car, I come into a cool car. Whereas, you know, an ice car, you need to turn it on, it needs to run for a while. Like it works like magic. It's almost instant. Another one I like that has to also do with using the app is, so for instance, I want to go to the Superstore next. As you can see, the phone is here with me. I'm just going to type in the address here, direction. I'm going to share it with the car. You see, it just comes up on the screen. So literally anywhere I'm going, maybe my wife is going somewhere and she's not sure, she texts me. I send the location to the car and then it takes her there basically. So, you know, there's very little features that are, you know, quite neat. For me, they are like the things that I enjoy so much about this car. So still talking about FSD, like the case use is replete, like it's broad. You know, someone I find, and I've talked about it in like more extensively in some of my other videos, someone who has some form of physical challenge or disability, FS is great for them. People who are getting older, more advanced in years, it is good for them. Like as it is right now, not even because I don't agree that it's adult supervised yet. I'm one of those skeptics, if you like to say. But for what it is right now, it is brilliant. You saw that drive we just did. I didn't have to intervene. This one as well is going to drive me. I'm going to put it in parking lot, not parking garage. No charger. 1 second. So I'm gonna parking lot. Yeah. So this is another feature that just came in recently that is really good. Basically you can tell it where you want it to park at your destination. You want to do a curbside drop off. You want it to be to park in a garage or in a parkade. It's gonna drive you in there. You want it to park at a parking lot. It's gonna do that. You want it to park on the street. It's going to do that. So it does end-to-end for the most part, and so the little inputs that might be required from them, maybe when the navigation is not good enough, which I'm going to talk about, it can be taken care of by the human input. So in terms of positives, this is another positive as far as FSD goes for me, or Tesla as a brand goes for me, and when it comes to driving an EV. Another positive is the Supercharger system. You see, in North America and in many parts of the world already right now, Teslas are everywhere. Tesla Superchargers are everywhere. I talked about this feature as well in one of my last videos, on my most recent videos, about how you can even vote for places where you want to see superchargers next. This is the reason why I would pick Tesla over any other EV brand right now. The supercharging network is so broad. Fine, Tesla has kind of opened up their networks to other car brands, but then you still hear people complain. I see lots of videos on people complain, oh, it's not syncing properly, the charger is not working for them. I have never had a problem where I drove into a supercharger and I cannot charge. It has never happened. So if you're thinking of an option, maybe you're now thinking, okay, it's an EV I want to do. This is, in fact, for us, this was what sold it for us. And from Alaska to down south in Florida, from Victoria in British Columbia, all the way to Halifax in Nova Scotia, you find Tesla supercharger. So that's another reason why it makes sense to actually do a Tesla compared to any other one. That's what has been our experience for the last year. It has been very smooth, very comfortable. So to tell you guys that when it parked the other time, it wasn't a fluke. Just watch it. The other time when it was gonna park, it pulled in right. This time around, the car is backing in. Like no hand, my legs are not there, not doing anything. It's gonna do it itself. So it's the best in class. There is no other one that's as good as this other that even comes close. Now here's another feature that I really love about Tesla, about this car, the Sentry Mode. So basically, if you go into the menu, there you see the dash cam, it's there. So basically, as you drive, as I drive, the car records, and then it shows you, what's happening around. Also, the Sentry Mode, basically, this is Sentry. Basically, is about when you park the car and then you are not there. You see, right now it picks people who are around the car. If this person was to vandalize my car or something, it picks them up. That's why I find it so dumb when people go ahead and then they kick Teslas or they scratch them or they try to vandalize them. You're an idiot. That car is recording you, and then it's like a 360 angle, basically left pillar, right, like all over. This is absolutely one of my best features in this car. You can also save as you're driving. If you see something where someone does something stupid or something that interests you that you wanted to capture, you literally you just hit a button here, just one press. It's not like you're fiddling with the screen or something. Just one tap, it records everything up until that point where you hit the tap. Where you hit the screen. So beautiful feature all over. I don't need to think about buying a dash cam or anything. Although I saw a video of someone recently who had a Tesla and still had a dash cam mounted in the front, another one mounted at the back. I'm like, that's an overkill. You being chased or hunted or something. If that's not the case, you don't need it. But this is another very cool feature that I really love about this car. Here's what I was just saying about the Sentry Mode. It already picked up someone while I was away, and then it's gonna load up. When you get people ding your car, this will pick that. As you can see, it says sent from phone. I sent that from my phone. It's become one of my most used features. So still talking about, now I've talked about like the pros. Now let me talk about the things I do not like about it. I'll start with my favorite one, which is FSD, obviously. The navigation is wonky. It's okay, but then given Tesla's fleet on the road, I believe they could do better. And this is kind of personal, maybe because I used to work as a GIS analyst. I used to build maps and do all of those things. So I know it can be better, but I think somehow they are finding it difficult integrating it into the car. That's one. The second One is with the FSD, and you guys can see I'm nitpicking here. You saw how just now it got into, you can hear, you could probably hear the bump a little bit. It ran yeah, it ran into, so you see the old man, he was waving me to go on, but FSD would not go. It was just gonna wait for him to go away. I think it's also watching those cars. It doesn't want to get into the bus lane, I'm assuming. Anyway, so you can see I'm nitpicking, but that's one thing that I do not like about it. Another thing regarding that's like a, not so good for me. So, and this is subjective. If you're someone who drives upwards of 600 kilometers every day and you live in a place where your winters get really cold, then Tesla might not be for you. And not just Tesla, an EV might not be for you. We have the range of these cars haven't gotten to that point where I would say you can comfortably do that, except say maybe where you work, which is gonna be crazy if you drive 600 kilometers every day for work, except you're a truck driver or something. I know, I'm guessing there are people who will do that anyway, but then if you know maybe from one point to the other you drive 300 kilometers and then you can charge at your destination, then you'll still be good in winter. But otherwise, then so that this tells you it's just like a niche kind of group that this would not work for. Another big con that I find, and this kind of subjective too, it depends on the area where you live. So when we're in Calgary, my insurance for the Tesla was around $300. But upon coming here to BC, the rates are crazy. So yeah, it's getting, can you imagine, it's winter. I'm having to turn on the fan. It's getting hot. Also, I'm wearing, long johns because if I get outside, it gets hot. Anyway, I digress. So insurance can be very, very expensive. And so, but then I think in the US, good for them in the US because, wow, FSD just made a U-turn in the middle of the road. Is that acceptable? I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw that, but we just made a U-turn. There is no sign that says no U-turn here, like we have here. We didn't have that there, but that was surprising. Anyway, it's done it. So that's another thing. The insurance can be very nasty. It can be a pain. So, and it's not just about Tesla. This is about all EV. So think about it, I would say, before you purchase. And I think it goes with many new cars nowadays. The insurance companies will charge you a rate based on how high risk they think that particular car is. So, and I also learned there are some other cars like Kias as well. Their insurance tends to be high too. So I'll just say check your jurisdiction. If it is not too expensive, then this is a moot point for you. So here is another one that is highly subjective and controversial. The noise in this car. So I've driven a Toyota Camry before. I've driven a Lexus before, Lexus ES before, and I find that the ambience in the cars are nicer than the Model Y. And by ambience, I mean like the noise, the road noise. Of course, it also depends on how new the road is. If the road is newer, you tend to not hear as much noise. But driven on both on similar road, the Tesla tends to have like much more noise than those who do. So that this minor thing you could say, but for some persons it's a big deal. For the amount that you pay for this car, I would expect that the paddings and whatnot is better. There are some aftermarket modifications that people sell that you can buy to kind of pad the door seals and whatnot. And you could also argue maybe Tesla has done this for aerodynamics to increase range and all of that, because I'm guessing those paddings and everything that cars like Lexus will put in would definitely would add more weight and reduce the range in some way. But I think in terms of quality of life, in terms of comfort, yeah. Then also that goes to like the ride comfort, the suspension. It's not the best in the market. Let's just put it that way. Is it functional? Does it do the job? Is it nice? It's okay, but it's not the best in the market. And for the amount you pay, you would want it to be that. It's considered luxurious in some way if you drive an EV, if you drive a Tesla. So you want it to be at that level. So as far as I'm concerned, those are the pros, those are the cons. Daily driving a Tesla Model Y for the last 1 year. The big question you might want to ask me is, would I do it again? Absolutely, I would do it again. The daily, the comfort of being able to heat up my car right from the comfort of my home within a few seconds sometimes, because others will tell you, yeah, I can also turn on remote start my car and then warm it up. Yeah, you have to do that for 15 minutes before the car warms up and then you can go in. But though I forgot and I just remembered and I'm going out in the next 2 minutes, I turn it on. By the time I get into the car is ready to go. In terms of moving from one point to the other, road tripping, the Supercharger, Tesla Supercharger network, it's the best in this class. In terms of the speed of charging as well, it's also fast enough, especially when you're on road trips and you just follow the Tesla navigation, tells you this is where you should stop and charge. That reminds me of something. What I find, it's a personal anecdote. I haven't tested it, so you might want to find out for yourself, but I'm just adding it as a bonus to this video. What I find is Tesla will route to the chargers where you tend to pay more, and that's my experience. It might not be your experience, but that's just on the side. The Supercharger network is broad, is good enough. Also, it's also nicer the fact that before we are ready, you know, cleaning up, changing diapers, giving her food and whatnot, the car is ready to go. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Here's another con for you, and it's an expensive mistake. If you don't think about it. You see, when you buy a Tesla and you're doing your insurance, please and please do windshield insurance. You see this windshield? They crack like cheap eggs. I say it again, they crack like cheap eggs. So I've had this car crack. I think it happened twice, but then I only did it once. I was gonna go on a road trip, so I just left it there, went on my road trip because I know there's a chance for it to crack again. If you live in an area where in winter the way they salt the road is with sand and salt, it's a necessity that you purchase it. In fact, generally I would just suggest you purchase it. Since we came back to BC, back to Vancouver, we haven't had that experience because there's not much snow. But when we're in Calgary, you would hear the sound, like when you're driving, you know, like that truck ahead that's going down at that distance, you will suddenly hear the sound of stone hitting your car, and there's absolutely nothing you can do. So what you can do is to protect yourself, get a form of insurance that would cover that expense before it happens. I've had to use mine, and you know, I would say it's absolutely worth it. So many of them would not add it, or you know, they won't count it as a claim for you if you add it as an extra feature, because it's something that can happen. So if you're a parent who is thinking about the possibility of, you know, switching to an EV, I would say do your research very well. One thing I like to say as a personal anecdote is I think this fits a family of 3. If we decide to have, you know, one more and we are 4, I think it will still work fine, but it's not going to fit a family of 5 comfortably. It is not. You might think 3-person seat at the back, but then when you factor in car seats and whatnot, it's not going to do it. So, but then as a family of 3, as a family of 4, I think this is one of the best cars you can get. In terms of the cost as well, I think it is also best in its class in that regard as well. So on a personal note, would I do this again? Absolutely. I won't even think about it twice. So, you know, imagine going from $500 of gas a month. Slammed on it. Can you imagine? If I was the one, I'm gonna go, because that yellow light, we're gonna make it. But not bad. It stopped us at a place where there is I don't know if you guys can see, there is a Tesla service center over there. So, which is okay, depending on what you think. So, in closing this video, that's my honest 1-year review for this car. Daily driving the Tesla Model Y, long range, all-wheel drive. One thing I would say, any car you want to do, if you're thinking of purchasing a car, like I do with every other purchase, every other thing, do your research very well. Make sure it fits your name. So this is a first-person experience of, you know, daily driving a Tesla Model Y, long range. You know, this video wasn't sponsored in any way. Tesla is obviously not sponsoring me. I have not plugged in any affiliate links or anything. So this is just me doing a honest review of what I feel about the video. If you do have questions, because I know there are certain things I might not have touched, or they haven't been exhaustive in my explanation enough, please leave them in the comment section. I want to hear them. I'm happy to respond to them. And if you're someone who's probably on the fence about going electric or not, I hope this video has helped you in some way. You know, it's been beautiful going from spending $500 a month to absolutely spending, you know, way less than that, like spending less than $100 a month to charge the car, and then, you know, get a smooth driving experience. And oh, one thing I forgot to add, the torque on this car is crazy. Like, I just need to exercise self-control. Otherwise, although when you first buy it, you're gonna do that, but when you do that, you have to pay for it in your threading wearing out. Anyway, that's the video for today. If you want to see more of this, please subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we recently moved back to the lower mainland, and I want to explore what Vancouver region has to offer. So you'll see me doing more of, you know, driving experiences and less of, you know, Tesla review videos, because, you know, this channel, that's not who I am. Of course, I would still do the regular first impressions video about FSD updates, because I think we need to know if it has actually improved to the point where we can completely go unsupervised. Also, I think FSD has gotten so good to the point where we do not need, like, there's nothing I want to show you guys again in terms of the driving, the car doing its thing that you haven't seen already, you know? So there's nothing I want to show you again that you guys haven't seen yet. So I'm not going to be doing, like, you know, just driving. This is going to mostly be this kind of video where I travel, I go to places, explore enjoy the experience. Of course, in an EV, in a Tesla. If that's kind of something you know you want to watch, you want to come along, please join me on this experience as well. Thanks for riding with me. I enjoy your comments, the criticisms, like, oh, this is what you should do to make the video better. I take it as constructive criticism. It makes me to make the video better and also to improve as as someone who makes this video also for my enjoyment and for yours as well. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. And if you will excuse me, I will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.